Congratulations.
So Nico, welcome to your spot in the show, and feel free to tell us what you have to speak for today.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. And it's an honor to be over here. And it's really nice to hear people from all over the world. And what I'm going to talk is quite short or not. Well, let's see. And I'm going to show a little bit how was the process of one of the programs of one of the projects that we had in Solidariamente, and with an NGO called Fundación Pilares. And it's a very big and nice NGO. And they work with the first days of the human beings, let's say, with kids, giving them food and helping them with lots of things. So what is this about? They contact us and they ask us that all the decisions they were making and all the things that they were making were just because of their knowledge, no, and never because of the numbers. So they called us and said, hey, we need some help. We want you to help us start getting some decisions oriented to numbers, KPIs. So over there we entered and we start saying, okay, let's start working. And I'm going to talk about the framework that we work in Solidariamente that it's really interesting and it's working right now in all our projects. That is, we have a first stage where we get into the NGO and we start learning about how do they work and how do they do the stuff. So the first part was talking to them, have interviews every week or 2 times per week. And so to start understanding how was the NGO and structuring them. After we structure all the NGO, we start trying to look for all the problems that they have. Of course, not very deep, the problems, but to see where are their pains and trying to see what are the priorities needed. So after the first 3 weeks, approximately, we have a meeting, like a first meeting of presentation of us, and so we say, okay, what we have realized after these 3 weeks is that this is the structure of who you are. And from this structure, we realize that these are your main problems or main issues, and where we are going to go and try to learn more about yourself and bring you KPIs about those points. So what this means? This means that we were saying, okay, first of all, we structure all the NGO and then we see where we can help. Why? Because one common problem that these projects come is that most of the NGOs have a lot of problems and we try to help them in all of the problems. And so this 3 months oriented impact project, help us focus our energy in a specific point, in a specific place, so to have better results. So after giving them the structure, naming them the first problems, we agreed that those were the points in which we were going to make a deep dive and learn more. After that, we had a 4 or 5 weeks in where we start learning about which are the best KPIs, which is the benchmark, the state of art. We start calling colleagues, professionals. We have interviews with guys, specialists in those areas that we were looking for and trying to measure. And after these 5 weeks, approximately, of course, with a lot of interviews with the NGO, with a lot of interviews, internal interviews, meetings, and working together. We end up after those 5 weeks saying, okay, hey, these are your main problems, and these are the solutions that we offer you. This is the thing that we think that will help you measure and start taking decisions oriented to KPIs. No, so that is, I think, that a breaking point in the projects, and it's the second part of the projects. No, the first one was trying to make a structure and look for the problems and make some recommendations, and then from there onwards start the second part, that is the implementation part. This implementation part is very important and is one of the value propositions that we have here in Solidariamente. Why is this? Because sometimes there is a mistake that is very common, that is making recommendations or making some consulting projects to the NGOs that are more big than they can handle. No, if I ask an NGO, okay, what you have to do is you have to hire 10 more people, you have to make a program of 200 volunteers, and then the NGO says, yeah, I agree with you, but I'm not able to do that. So this part of this implementation part, it's really, really important in Solidariamente, and make us give some recommendations that are specifically fitable to that NGO. So then we started the second part. We were in the team. There were four amazing industrial engineer students from ITBA here in Buenos Aires. And we started working in four verticals, no? Two of them were working in part of the financial parts and costs and income, and the other two were working the human resources, the volunteers part and the rented people that work on the NGO. So we started working. We make a lot of benchmark meetings. It was tough. It was tough, but it was really, really, really nice to work and to know that the work that we are doing was going to help the NGO have more clear all the information they have, because the information is over there. It's not that it is not over there. The thing that they needed was organize that information and had it clearer so they can take better decisions. So after that second half and a month, approximately 6 weeks, we made the final presentation to the NGO, and I think that Nico was over there also, and always supporting us in every project, even though he's the founder and he's watching all the world. He's very, very aware of what's going on in everyone, and so he was over there helping us the final presentation, and it was really grateful for all the team to hand in something that they told us later that they were able to use. We gave them 4 different dashboards, and of course after the first month of the hand in, they called us again and say, hey, we broke your Excel. So it was really, really grateful to hear that, because that means that they were using it. No? So we enter again, of course, and we help them again and try to fix that. So the objective of this little speech that I had just made was I wanted to tell you how is the framework of work that we usually do here in Solidariamente, at least how we started. Of course, this is something that is very dynamic and we evolve every day. But it's really interesting to have this first part of knowing the NGO, presenting the problems, and then passing to the part of, okay, I'm going to recommend you something, make a research, state of art, etc. And then finally to make this implementation. And when we make a step back, the NGO is working with something that is really, really nice to them and helps them a lot. And they also, after this work that we made, they called us, they were very grateful. And I think that is very interesting to all of us, that we were able to put our head, our knowledge, our studies in behalf of the society and help more people. And the thing that we do had a very exponential help, that we help them, that they help a lot of, in this case, kids. So it's really, really interesting. I think that everyone has said a little bit about this, but if you ever want to work with us, with Solidariamente, just contact us on Instagram, LinkedIn, call Nico, me. You have the webpage, solidariamente.org. And we are always open to work with someone that wants to work. I don't want to bore you anymore. So I think that this is kind of the closing of my little short speech to show you a framework of KPI for better decisions. So Donnie, I don't know if you have any questions or someone has any questions, but if not, I think that from my point of view, I'm over.